Dana Schwartz, and this is Rise or Die, the official companion podcast for Peacock's original series, Those About to Die. On this podcast, I go behind the scenes with the show's cast and creators to learn how they brought their brutal vision of Rome to life.
Gosh, people will freak out.
Rise or Die launches on July 18th. Watch or listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, I'm Alison Larkin, writer, comedian, narrator, and host of the Jane Austen podcast. Join me as we embark on a journey through Austen's timeless stories, starting with Pride and Prejudice. The Jane Austen podcast with Alison Larkin is available wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey everybody, before we get into today's thrilling episode, Kristen and I have some stuff to tell you about. First of all, today is June 28th, and tonight I'm playing in Anaheim. Woo! Tomorrow I'm playing in San Francisco.
See you there.
Day after that I'm playing in Portland.
See you there too.
And the day after that I'm playing in Seattle.
Also see you there.
So if you're in any of those cities, come on out and say hey. You can find all the information on my website at jennyowenyoungs.com/tour.
While Jenny plays music, I will be signing any Buffy DVDs that have been brought to the show.
How dare you?
Some other important news. We have a lot of news because we're wrapping up we're getting towards the end of the season here. One of the things we want to tell you is that on July 30th, we will be doing a Buffy watch for all of our patrons. So if you don't know, a great way to support us is over on Patreon. The link is on our website, bufferingthevampireslayer.com. Just click on Patreon. All of our patrons, any level of giving, are always invited to our Buffy watches. And on July 30th, we are doing a poll. The poll is live right now. Right now, Band Candy is winning. The choices are Becoming Two, Anne, Faith, Hope, and Trick, or Band Candy.
Sophie's choice.
If you would like to join us on that Buffy watch or participate in the voting or both, go on over to our website, click on Patreon, and you can become one of our supporters and join us for that very, very fun time. And you'll notice that we've set a new goal on Patreon. You've all been so supportive of our work. And as we go into season 3, we have some new improvements that we want to make to our setup here and get things just even better than they already are, and also keep ourselves sustained. So you can check out that and all the other fun things over in the land of Patreon.
Also, as we are nearly at the end of season 2, we have CDs of songs from season 2 up for pre-order on our website, along with songs from season 1, which we'll be doing a limited run of again, and also some new shirts.
Yes!
An amazing Awoo shirt that Isabella Rotman designed for us, a fantastic Even a Werewolf is Better Than Misogyny shirt that Cameron Glavin illustrated for us, and we've got a Just Keep Fighting shirt in a new color. That is beautiful.
Yes, it's also beautiful. I go to the store sometimes and I just look at it. It's just so everything looks so good.
Look what I have wrought. So yeah, you too can go look at our store, get lost in it, or if you want to buy anything, it's there for you.
It is.
You can just go to bufferingthevampireslayer.com and click on shop. And with that,
oh,
sweet heavens.
Sweet heavens indeed.
Let's get into it.
Let's.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Buffering the Vampire Slayer, a podcast where we're watching and discussing every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, one by one, weeping when necessary. I am Jenny Owen Youngs.
And I am Kristen Russo, and this week we are talking about Season 2, Episode 21, Becoming Part 1. Stay tuned at the end of this podcast every week for an original song written by us recapping the Buffy episode we are discussing.
Except for this week.
Yes. So this week, this is a two-parter, Becoming 1 and Becoming 2. It's the finale. Welcome to the finale. Do you like my song?
This is a very good song.
This is the finale of Season 2. And typically in the past, we have done two-parters by doing half the song on the first part and the second half in the second part. We talked a long time about this, though, and we really feel that these two need to be one song. Like, the song has to come at the end of the finale. So we will not have a song after Becoming 1. We will have the full Becoming song after the finale A note on the finale. Today is Wednesday, June 28th. For all of our listeners, Becoming Part 2 will come out, as you would expect, on Wednesday, July 5th. That'll be the finale episode. It'll have the full song. However, if you are a Stitcher Premium member, you have the finale right now. We released both parts for our Stitcher Premium subscribers together, all on June 28th. So that's very exciting. If you want to listen to both parts together, you can. You can just go to stitcherpremium.com/Buffy. There's a code there for you to use. You get a free month. You can just, if you want, just listen to it. Then you can leave or you can stay because it's pretty great because there's lots of exclusives and we're going to be doing more over there. However, we should really talk about this episode, don't you think?
I could tell you something about this episode. Becoming Part 1 was written and directed by Joss Whedon and originally aired on May 12th, 1998.
Yes, and this is the one where Angel plots to revive an ancient demon bent on sweeping everything on Earth into hell itself.
This is the one where Kendra dies. We meet Whistler and see a lot of Angel origin flashbacks.
Yes.
It's also the one where Spike is hilarious. It's a great episode.
I'm confused about the IMDb description because it says bent on pulling the world into hell itself. But they didn't. Is that what it is? Hell? Because I just thought it was like another demon dimension.
Well, I don't think there'd be too much of a meaningful distinction between what we think about as hell and a demon dimension.
Okay. It's just like, I guess
it's functional hell for non-demon entities.
Fine. Hell, the general hell, but not the specific hell, perhaps. You know what I'm saying?
Just hell. Isn't that enough?
Yes, it is. So what do you call it?
The previously on?
Yeah. In the previously on segment of this episode, we get the slow-mo disc drop in between the desks, which I just want to say, I don't know that we've seen anything else more than this disc, this floppy disc.
Listen.
Slowly. Why do you think, I mean, I know it's an important moment, but like, I don't know that we needed it to be in slow motion, is all I'm saying. Like,
Kristen,
I still would have.
I think you're asking the wrong questions. Okay. I think the question you might want to ask yourself is, when else other than but now in this universe, in this cluster of episodes, when will I get to see a floppy disk repeatedly fall in slow motion between a desk and a filing cabinet?
Right. And
when?
The answer is here and now.
Yes.
We got to see it. And it is, of course, it's a very important little thing to show before we go into this episode because it really is the thing that sets the chain of events into motion. We will get there, but first,
can I give you my notes for the cold open?
Yes, please.
Obviously the cold open is broken into two sections. The Galway flashback and then Buffy in the cemetery. Right. My notes for the Galway section are Galway, sideburns, Darla, David's accent, and ponytail. Boobs!
I mean, I don't really have anything.
Yeah, do we have to discuss anything there?
I did have Angel's ponytail listed in my notes. And also that that of course they're hanging out in the back alleys of Ireland, right? That no matter where you are,
you're always going to be in an alley on the show.
I just have this theory that the back alleys in Galway connect to the back alleys in Sunnydale.
Probably.
Right?
It's like a left, a right, and a left.
You know when you play Clue, when you play the game Clue, and like you can go the paces you need to go from like the dining room to the living room, or you can take the secret passageway to get to the...
There's a secret passageway between Galway and Sunnydale.
100%.
Of course.
100%. It's very golden compass in that sense. I think you can just pop from alley to alley.
Yes.
But yeah, that's a good, and I mean, I know your last note was boobs, and you did make a good joke of it. I just want everyone to know how serious that note is. Jenny, like, I feel like you basically stood up on the couch when this scene happened where Darla cuts her skin directly above her boobs so that Angel can drink from it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know.
Didn't happen.
I think it might be your favorite thing ever. Like favorite of all. Like if you had like a favorite food, a favorite this, a favorite that, and then all those favorites came up against each other to win one major
favorite. I don't know
favorite.
About that.
I think
but what I will say is that thinking backwards and forwards of all the episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, of every scene I can recall of someone being made vampire. This is my favorite method used.
Okay, yes. Yeah.
Great job.
It is. Oh, I did have another note about Darla.
Darla looks amazing.
My note is Darla has a perfect face. Like,
yes.
It's like perfectly, it's just like perfectly proportioned. It's just really nice to look at. I like to look at a Darla face.
Julie Benz, totally crushing it.
More like Julie Babes, am I right?
You are right, or, well, not the other thing that I was gonna just say, because maybe one day she'll come on the show.
Oh.
So I shouldn't call her that.
Wow.
I was just following a natural train of thought. Also, I feel like we should edit that out.
I don't even know what you were going to say.
Julie Boobs.
Was that? We have to edit that out because you were going to say Julie Boobs?
Yeah.
Never editing it out. Staying.
So I just want to say, I feel like we've seen so little of Darla in this show cumulatively, but she always leaves such a strong impression. I think she looks amazing in this scene, and like seeing her like framed in that archway, like you can totally see, it just makes a lot of sense.
Well, that's funny because my thinking was like, wow, is this how you like flirted in the 1800s? You know?
Stand under a well-lit arch.
and then don't say anything, just turn around and walk away.
Yeah.
And if it's the right man, he shall follow.
Yikes.
So then we go to the graveyard. Cemetery? I'll never remember which it is.
Cemetery. It's a cemetery.
We go to the cemetery and we learn that 5 vampires in 3 nights is a high ratio of vampires, which I feel is important because I never understand like
there's really I don't think we have a sort of like universally accepted normal rate of vampires. I think it's just relative to the episode and whatever they're trying to accomplish.
So, okay,
personally.
sure. So, but we've seen 5 vampires in 3 nights and we're led to believe that is a lot. None of them have been Angel. Buffy is frustrated.
None of them have stayed along and alive long enough to deliver a message.
We learn the vampires are horrible carrier pigeons. The worst.
You do not
although, actually, that's not true because later in the episode...
There is the immolationogram, which is highly effective, which is great,
yeah.
So Angel is watching Buffy from behind the leaves of a tree.
If you can, just go back and look at the pier because it's a really dramatic pier. It's just like, I feel like they burst out laughing after he peered through the bushes.
Right?
It's just so dramatic.
A lot of intense looks.
And then he's, whatever, Buffy kills the vamps. Xander's like, blah, whatever. There's a thing. But then Angel has this like soliloquy to the camera.
Oh my God.
Where he's like, yes, my love, it will.
Right. Buffy's like, finals. And Xander's like, oh, finals, I forgot. And Buffy's like, it'll all be over soon. And then Angel's like, straight into the camera. Yes, my love, it will.
Yeah, and also wearing no eyeliner, Jenny.
No eyeliner, but extra powder.
Yes, but
extra pale.
I'm just saying your graph may need an update.
Right.
Deep
gotta update
plunge
the graph
for
quick.
episode 21.
I'm sure he was in a rush, or maybe Sephora was out of Bat Black.
Gosh, if any of you missed the graph that Jenny did, we put it up on our social accounts. We're going to put it up on Patreon, so you can find it over there. Just go to bufferingthevampireslayer.com and click on Patreon. You don't have to be a patron. It'll be up publicly. It's just really special. You did a great job.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. So then we go to the credits.
And when we come back from the credits, here we are at Sunnydale's archaeology hut.
Yeah, what? Yeah, where are we? Who is this guy?
I guess they refer to him as the curator. So maybe we're at the Natural History Museum where Inca Mummy Girl
where Inca Mummy Girl
came from.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fine. But then how is Giles billed as the best authority on obscure relics? Because when we talked about it, we watched it the first time and I had that question and you were like, maybe it was a Watcher thing. Like maybe it has something to do with being a Watcher, but like it's not made apparent that this guy has anything to do with Watchers. It seems like he's just a museum dude, but maybe like Watchers are in
There's probably the Venn diagram of obscure relic experts and people in the Watchers Council. Probably
overlap. Right.
Probably
okay.
just a circle.
Right. So Giles is like, oh, this is a big rock. It has some writing on it. It opens, but don't open it. I want to translate the text.
Love the curator. I love him.
I do too. He's another dude from New York.
Oh my God. Archibald the Coyote.
Oh my God. Seriously?
Yes. Look at him go.
Oh my God. Take a picture. They'll never believe us. Okay. So
So
updates.
We haven't seen Patrol Cat in a while.
Well, no, we have seen Patrol Cat. He has not been patrolling.
Yeah, we've seen him elsewhere
He's
in the
always
neighborhood.
running.
He's always hustling.
He never stops anymore to look at us. He's whatever. We love him. He's Patrol Cat.
But the new development is that there's this coyote that is...
Coyote, if you will.
Archibald.
Jenny's named him Archibald.
He's constantly trotting up and down our street. The other night we heard, if you've ever heard a coyote howl, you know how otherworldly and fucking scary and weird their howls sound. They're super high.
Yeah.
And they just sound like they're like ripping them. They sound like they're like howling as though it were like a cough after having pneumonia or something. It's like from their depths, a howl, a shrill howl.
Right. So
and
we
heard
hear this
so loud. They're usually like far away in the distance.
No,
in
this
the
was
hills.
like on our couch. It might as well have been on our couch.
We pulled back the curtain and it was just on our front steps, howling with all its might. And it stood there for like 2 minutes just howling.
So, and it's been back. It keeps coming. It's like it's daylight right now. It's 6 o'clock. It's 6:20 p.m.
I mean, coyotes are not nocturnal.
Well, but you don't usually see them.
Rare
we see
to
this
see
guy
them
all
during
the
the day.
time. He's just always hanging out. And
For
I'm
last
just
week,
saying,
he's just been...
I think he might want to be our pet. Is all I'm saying. He's putting in his bid. Patrol Cat has submitted his bid. Archibald has now submitted a bid. Who will be our pet?
I think there's something that animals can sense because we've been talking about the concept of pets lately.
Oh, that they're like, there's like a beacon.
Right.
Beep, beep,
They're
beep.
like humans considering animals.
Right. Now, Jenny, we haven't talked about Patrol Cat in a long time. And now we have. And I just think I would like to hear the Patrol Cat jingle.
Until Archibald has a jingle of his own.
Yes.
Here's Patrol Cat.
Yes.
Here he comes down the street, across our porch, on his little feet, looking around, checking the neighborhood, keeping us safe from the coyotes, from the coyotes. Oh yeah, Patrol Cat. Patrol Cat is real. Okay,
Beautiful, beautiful tune. Beautiful song we wrote about Gabby Dunn. Also manifests as Patrol Cat. Maybe Gabby's just changed form. Maybe Gabby's now going as a coyote.
So where the hell were we?
We were talking about the curator. You love him.
I love him.
I was about to
He's
say
from Brooklyn.
He's another Brooklyn guy.
All these Brooklyn transplants in Sunnydale.
Fucking Brooklynites. They love to move to Sunnydale. Right, and he
property taxes low, crime low, except for supernatural stuff.
He meets his end, sadly, because I would have liked to hang on to this curator.
Yeah, I was sad when he died.
Yeah, but he gets killed by Drew. We don't see Drew kill a lot of people.
But this is her episode, all right.
Oh, yeah, it sure is, and we'll get to the other kills that she has.
But before we do,
an
an important kill we should discuss is Fishstick A slaying Fishstick B. This is one of my favorite things that Xander has done, aside from appearing in a Speedo.
Had to bring it up again.
I
had to stir the pot.
I had to stir the pot. I just love this little...
It's really great.
Come on.
And it's a really creative use of a fish stick and a toothpick, you know?
Yeah.
It's just really nice. And you know who else loves this? Cordelia.
Cordelia
is so tickled. I never thought I would see Cordelia laugh at a fish stick, and yet.
You see her, she's like, "Are you finished?" And you know that she like meant to say it mean, but she just loves it way too much.
So tickled. She's so tickled. Speaking of tickled, there's just a lot of like flirting going on at the lunchroom table in this
lap
scene.
sitting, elbow touching.
Yes, and who would walk into this scene of public display of affection but Snyder, who obviously cannot. Snyder's kryptonite is a public display of affection. He cannot stand it, and he has this great moment with Willow where he's like, "I didn't know there was a chair shortage," and she's like, "Oh, I didn't read about a chair." Oh,
and then, I didn't see any pie charts about a chair shortage.
Right. And Snyder's a total D-bag and tells Buffy that he just wants to expel her. Same old, over in the lunchroom.
Snyder.
And then we go to another flashback. This one
is in London.
And it's Drusilla. Fuck it.
Hell
I'm not
yeah.
even. Don't shut up. Give her jingle before I even talk about it. Give it to her.
Drusilla, you fill my heart with dread. and still I'm led right back to you.
Oh my word. If anything is better than Drusilla, it's a goddamn Drusilla flashback. That's what I have to say. Drusilla in her like pure form before turning in her like little white veil doing confession.
Come
Wanting
on. To be
on.
pure in his sight. I
Yes.
love that we see this iteration of her and also learn that she had visions
Yes.
before becoming a vampire.
Yeah. Well, didn't we know? We knew that she had visions before becoming a vampire. I think we learned that in an earlier episode when we got like the backstory of how Angel killed her. Like that she was already
Had the sight.
She already had the sight. Yeah, I think we knew that. But anyway, I still I agree with you. This scene is so important for us understanding that Drew. Because it's really, that Drew has a lot of overlap with this Drew, which is not true for Angel, right? Like Angel's
Right.
Angel's got a really interesting trajectory because before he gets turned, he is sort of this like drunken Irishman who's whatever, and then he has sort
Just
of
kind of like avoiding work.
right, and he sort of has that air as flashback vamp Angel, but then Ensouled Angel, even immediate Ensouled Angel, is very different. And I don't remember who I was talking to, but someone was like, I think that when Angel got ensouled, it was not Angel's original soul. It was a different soul.
Right. That was Cameron Glavin.
Ah, Cameron Glavin.
Friend of the pod. Here's what I say to that.
Yes.
As we see over the span of this episode, Angel spends a lot of time living outside of humanity.
Yeah.
Just feeling tortured, feeling terrible.
Totally. And that's what I initially attributed to Angel's now personality, 100%. But when he turns, I guess it's like a really traumatic moment, so maybe that's what it is. Because when he first turns, when we see the Romani curse happen, he's just like, he seems like new Angel instead of old Angel. Whatever. It's a complicated thing, is all I'm saying. But I'd like to get back to the point, which is Drusilla. In the confession booth at church. And one of my favorite things that happens with a vampire is when they have to act and pretend they're someone else. It's just my favorite thing. And here we have Angel trying to pretend he's a priest and trying to like come up with the right words to say.
The Lord is very forgiving.
But this is great. This is like, I feel like any good salacious scene that has to do with religion is like, something sexy and bloodlusty happening in a confession booth or in a church or with a priest or the priest. You know what I mean? There's just something about a scene being set in a church that has a very special something to it.
And you're saying that including this scene?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
I thought you were going to say this scene is all about just like straight, pure religious intention. Towards piety for Drusilla.
Right, but it's set up, it's like the wall between Angel's booth and Drew's booth is like separating,
Right.
Obviously
supplying Angel with his favorite lighting.
Oh my gosh. He was like, you know what? Yeah, before they had Venetian blinds,
they had
I gotta get into
a confession booth stat.
Oh, and when he puts his stupid little vampire hand up against the grate, come on.
God is watching you.
God is watching us. That's what I think of every time I hear Angel say God is watching you. I play that song, in my mind. Then we go to this beautiful, the competition for the Sexual Tension Award is fucking high in this episode.
Tell me your thoughts.
First of all, Angel bopping Spike in the back of the head as he walks by.
Yeah.
What a flirt!
What a second grade schoolyard move.
Spike's all like reading the paper and Angel's like, hey man, bonk. Yeah. So I feel that the sexual tension between Angel and Spike is very, very high in this episode. I think it's at its peak in this episode. It may go further. I don't know. But for now, I say peak. However, fucking Kendra's back.
Oh my God, Kendra and Buffy. There's like this crackling electricity between them.
Of course there is. A slayer and a slayer makes for
great.
Tension, Jenny. Lots of tension. So I don't know. I have to think on it as we talk.
Okay, we'll get there.
I don't know that I cannot give it to the two slayers, but we'll get there. We'll get there. I love that Spike's reading the paper. I love when Drusilla says something terrible. Psst, psst, psst. my favorite. It's not even my favorite. She does a lot of great things in this
Yeah.
episode. But I think my top moment in this scene is the headline of the article: "Mysterious Obelisk." What? What reporter would title the article "Mysterious Obelisk"? Who even knows what an obelisk? I don't even know what an obelisk is. Isn't it a shape? Isn't it not even? What's an obelisk?
So I was under two impressions. One, that it was pronounced obelisk, but I think you might actually be right.
I have no idea how things are
If you
pronounced.
know the correct pronunciation,
No, it's fine.
don't tell us about
Potato,
it.
potato, obelisk, obelisk. You know what I'm saying?
I was thinking an obelisk was like the Washington Monument, but is that a different shape? Hang on. According to Wikipedia, an obelisk is a tall, four-sided, narrow, tapering monument
Oh, interesting.
which ends in a pyramid-like shape or pyramidion at the top.
Wow.
So
this is pretty.
So the person who wrote this headline not only wrote this headline, but also got it skewed.
Got a little wrong, but that's better than what I thought it was, because I definitely pictured like an orb when I saw that word. You know, like an oval orb type thing. Anyhow, then we go to Sunnydale. High
Tutor
school.
time.
Tutor time with Willow. They're, talking about calculus and all this other nonsense.
Yep.
Buffy's like, ugh, finals. It's so hard to be a slayer. And then she drops her pencil.
Wait. Buffy also is like, I'm stupid. And
Right.
Willow's like, hey,
Yeah.
that's my friend Buffy you're
Don't
talking
talk about
about.
my friend like that.
And gives Buffy a talking to about how she's smart. And
Yeah.
she just has a lot on her plate, but she's not stupid.
Yeah, it's really
And
nice.
then-
And then Buffy drops her pencil. It falls at full speed, doesn't fall slow motion. Turns out not everything falls to the floor in that classroom.
Yeah, I
in
thought maybe
slow
there was like some
motion.
sort of gravity-defying protection spell just in that little slot between the desk and the filing cabinet.
But then she has this really interesting Slayer moment, I guess, because she says that was a huge deja vu, right? So is she channeling?
Maybe she's dreamed it.
Right. It's like she's dreamed it, or like Jenny is giving her a message from
Maybe.
the afterlife, or something happens in this moment that makes her want to do it again. And when she drops the pencil again, she finds this disc, and this is where we find out. I mean, this is not where we find out. This is where they find out that Jenny was very close to, doing the spell on Angel, redoing the spell on Angel before she was killed by Angel.
Then we flash back to the Romanian woods.
Yes.
We see a classic orb of Thessala.
Just your classic orb.
Like you usually see it.
Yes, sometimes being used for spells and sometimes as paperweights.
Yep,
we learned in this episode, did we not?
Giles is the
was the
hoo-ha
guy. Yeah.
that bought the Thessalan
Hoo-ha.
orb and used it as a paperweight.
Yeah.
We heard about him earlier when
Yes.
Jenny bought her Thessalan orb.
So anyhow, yes, the orb. And also, what are these orbs of Thessala? Like a dime a dozen? Just everybody can have a fucking orb of Thessala?
Apparently.
Can I have one? Where's my orb of
I
Thessala?
will look into it.
I'm sure they sell them. Right?
For every orb of Thessala I buy for you,
Mm-hmm.
I get to buy a guitar.
No. Then I should start with like 14 orbs of Thessala.
That's a gross overestimation. So moving right along, we see Angel get re-ensouled, and we see the father of the girl he killed explaining what's happening, talking us through, you don't remember right now, but you will.
This is interesting to me, this concept. I mean, obviously we've talked about it before with the ensouling and that being the punishment, but I feel like in this universe, in the Buffyverse, there's a really strong line drawn between the monster and the person.
Right.
And that's like a big theme of this episode. We're about to get into a pretty intense fucking scene where we talk about this because, in the curse world, at least, my feeling is like, man, Angel isn't the person who killed all of those people, right? It's Angelus. It's the soul. It's the monster that is, as described, I think, by Angel himself or by Buffy, the monster that has taken residence in Angel's body has done these deeds. So the idea of then giving this person their personhood back, but making them tortured for their entire life is twisted, right? Because by that logic, they haven't even done anything. They've been like possessed by this demon
Right.
or inhabited by this demon, and now they have to suffer the consequences of that demon's actions. And that's the conversation that Xander takes up in the library. But what's interesting is that in the library, I side with Xander. Like so I think what I'm saying is I'm very confused about where I fall on this.
Well, I think it's super complicated. So, like, in this Scooby Summit, restoring Angel's soul, Willow is, like, very confident. I can do this. I think I'm the best person to do this. And I think I can make it work. And Angel could be re-ensouled.
Right.
The thing is, why wouldn't you want to restore the good person that you know he can be?
Right. And it's because, of course, he was that good person, but he runs a very, very strong risk of killing somebody. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's where Xander is coming from. And I don't, like, I don't know. It's like, if you apply this to people, if we do something wrong, we should be able to work on ourselves, to improve ourselves, and to be trusted again if we've done that work, right?
Right. But holding on to his soul is not necessarily 100% under
guaranteed.
his control.
But what is guaranteed, right? Like how? Which is why
this also raises a larger question of if you can restore a soul, the
Right.
human soul, into a body that's been taken over by a vampire. What is the morality of a vampire slayer?
Ooh.
Just a thought.
Jenny, wow. Deep.
Just a thought. I mean, probably the sort of like risk.
Right. And also, like, how many? I know
How
there
many
are,
Thessalan
right.
orbs really are there?
There's a lot of orbs, but I don't know that there's that many. But yeah, it's just, I think this is a really polarizing scene. I imagine this is a polarizing scene for people. It's certainly a polarizing moment for the Scoobies. Definitely the most polarizing moment they have shared as a group. Right. I mean, when Xander comes down hard.
He is 100% unable or unwilling to consider a separation between Angel and Angelus.
Right. And for the first time in my opinion, or at least in my memory, this is the first time that I really believed that Xander was not motivated by any factor having to do with Buffy or wanting to date Buffy, wanting to be with Buffy, being in love with Buffy.
Right. He was
This
just
was
like, this is dangerous.
Yeah.
This person is a killer.
He his moment where he saw Giles mourning the loss of Jenny Calendar, all of that I think is what is informing him, saying, no, this horrible thing has happened and we cannot bring this person back just because Buffy loves him.
It also makes Xander think it's okay to say, yeah, well, Jenny's dead to Giles.
Right.
Wow, that is not okay.
No, it's not, but like I guess
No, I mean, I understand it, but I mean, like, it is not okay to Giles.
Right, of course. I mean, right. It's this really blind moment of passion, I think, for
Passion. It sleeps
really
inside all of us.
I really set you up for that.
Waiting to be awoken.
That's good. But Xander really is just like totally unaware of anything else except for his own feelings in this moment. And it's in a way that I really identified with, where you're like, I have to put a stop to this and I can't care anymore what people might think of what I have to say because somebody else could die and it could be someone else that I love.
Yeah.
And I can't let that happen. So I don't know. I don't know where I fall on this. I really, really don't. I kind of understand both sides. In this argument, I really understood where Xander was coming from, but also then Willow was this incredible friend to Buffy, right? She turns to Buffy and says, "What do you want?" And really puts that trust in Buffy, which is probably accurate, but complicated. It's just complicated. Complicated. Would love to hear all of your thoughts. Where do we stand? Do we want Angel to have his soul back or not?
Support for today's episode comes from OneSkin. And if you have sensitive skin, you're going to want to hear about their scientifically proven topical supplements. Free from over 1,500 chemicals and preservatives that can make skin red, irritated, or itchy, their products are safe for sensitive skin. It's just one of the reasons they've earned the skin-safe seal of approval.
They've also earned the Jenny Owen Youngs and Kristen Russo seal of approval, if I do say so myself, Jenny.
I couldn't agree more. I've been using OneSkin for a few months, and after a few weeks, I remember it like it was yesterday. I texted Kristen, and I was like, maybe she's born with it. I looked in the mirror that morning and was like, oh, Things are happening, and I am happy.
I have used a million billion skin products, and I did not think that I was going to switch off of the skin like lotion, the moisturizer that I used and the under eye cream that I used, because I have used them for a little while and I really like them. And I've switched completely, which is a pretty big deal. OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company. By focusing on the cellular aspects of aging, OneSkin keeps your skin looking and acting younger for longer. Get started today with 15% off using code BUFFERING at oneskin.co. That's 15% off at oneskin.co with code BUFFERING. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them, and if you can, please tell them that we sent you.
As a podcast network, our focus is bringing you shows you love to listen to. But we also sell merch related to those shows. And partnering with Shopify has made that both possible and simple for us to do. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor adventures, Shopify helps you sell everywhere because they've got you covered, from their all-in-one e-commerce platform to their in-person POS system. What's so fantastic about Shopify is how, no matter how big you want to grow, they provide everything you need to get control of your business so you can take it to the next level. Businesses that grow, grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm. That's all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/realm.
Hello, I'm Simon Jack.
And I'm Sing Sing.
And together we host Good Bad Billionaire, the podcast exploring the minds, the motives, and the money of some of the world's richest individuals.
Every episode, we pick a billionaire and we find out how they made their money.
And then we judge them. Are they good, bad, or just another billionaire?
Good Bad Billionaire from the BBC World Service.
Listen now wherever you get your BBC podcasts.
But I want to say, too, about this scene, two things. There is a look that Buffy gives Xander in the moment after Xander says that to Giles that is unbelievable. It is so good. She is like shocked and appalled. And it's just a really, really high moment for Sarah Michelle Gellar. I think she nails it. And then, you know, we talked about all these things that Xander has said, but then Xander pushes the line, the final moment for him. You want to forget all about Miss Calendar's murder so you can get your boyfriend back. Really cutting words.
Mm-hmm.
So then Buffy leaves. Then we lose the museum guy. R.I.P. to the museum curator.
Right. Drew kills him, and then in strolls Angelus with two vampires with ropes.
Yeah.
So my question for the universe is, how are these vampires, these two vampires, transporting this enormous stone tomb across Sunnydale back to their...
I don't know. Secret passageways,
castle.
Combination of secret passageways and metaphysics is my only hope. I don't know. This little demon, this little Acathla, this little guy, he's such a funny little guy.
Very like disproportionately, like his waist is like very low, long
he's
torso.
Like very troll. He's like a troll
Short legs,
proportions.
very close together.
An oaf. What do you call
an ogre?
Ogre. An oaf. An ogre. Yeah, he's like a little ogre. He reminded me. I looked up when we were watching the poster for Quest for Camelot because I was like, is there a... But I think I was conflating Quest for Camelot with Shrek somehow.
Yeah.
But he's like a little Shrek guy. I kind of like him. I know he's bad, but he's kind of cute.
He's a little cutie.
He's kind of a cute little guy. Anyhow, then Buffy's
just
like,
waiting
what
to be woken
do?
up.
What to do? Oh dear, the Clotta ring. See the Clotta ring, which she has left next to her hot pink hair pick.
Right. Which, of course, fires up the old Angel and Buffy theme cue.
Yes, you know how I love a good theme cue.
I know you do.
But then we get Buffy goes to patrol. She's gonna like work out her emotions.
Yes.
And
Speaking of a couple that deserves a theme,
who better to work out her emotions with than her best girlfriend, Kendra?
I love it.
This is a great scene between the two of them. They are gonna make out in those bushes.
They're so funny.
They're gonna kill a couple of vamps and then make out for old time's sake.
Regardless of whether they're gonna make out or not, which who knows what's in the canon. But
the canon.
I'll
give you canon.
I just love a foil. Buffy has a foil in Kendra, right? Like her true match.
Yeah.
You know, and kind of like her polar opposite, and they like know each other well enough to like really like poke each other, and it's so fun. I just love it.
It is.
Love it.
It is, and we don't get enough of it. We really don't.
And we'll never
get
enough of it.
It's just I always forget. Everyone knows I've only watched the series once, so I need to stop exaggerating. I forgot that we got so little time with Kendra. You know, like so little screen time. I know that like technically we get a season with Kendra, but she's just really not here for very long. And I just love her so much. But anyway, before we start mourning her, let's enjoy her while we have her for this episode. Yeah. So they make out in the bushes. Then Acathla. Then we learn about Acathla. Acathla came to swallow the world. He was killed by a virtuous knight, which, like, who's that guy?
Yeah.
Right? Not even a slayer. Just a virtuous, just a guy with a sword. Killed.
And probably looked great in a Speedo.
Yes, Jenny. Kills Acathla, thereby saving the world because... And then we learn in the next scene that there's a demon universe that lives in a different dimension. That Acathla can open this vortex that sucks the whole world into this other dimension, and anyone who's not a demon dies a horrible death.
Actually, suffers in torment for all eternity, I think.
Oh, I made it nicer on
Remember
them.
hell? Remember, like, the vibe of hell? It's forever. Hell is forever. Just like diamonds. You know what we didn't touch on? When Angel and Drew get Acathla's tomb back to Vampire Hut, we get this great line from Spike. His impression of the rock that that prompts the Acathla history lesson, which is, "It's a big rock. Can't wait to tell my friends. They don't have a rock this big."
Yeah, Spike is really working himself up into a froth, a wonderful, wonderful Spike froth that I believe will come to its full Spike fruition in the following episode.
Wow.
Said a lot of FR words all together there.
Wow.
Froth, fruition. Kendra has brought a sword that Giles geeks out over. It's the sword that this knight... how did they, whatever.
She's just got a very dialed-in watcher.
Kendra strolled over to the set of Game of Thrones and was like, "Hey, excuse me, do you know which knight it was that killed Acathla over here?"
So, like, Buffy's like, "Willow, I want you to try the curse." Kendra's like, "Angel should be eliminated." Buffy's like, "Oh, I'll kill him, but I want the spell as backup just in case I don't get to kill him." Yeah,
Willow expressing a very intense interest in the dark arts in this episode. Just saying.
Do they have to be dark?
No, but this is a dark, they call it the dark arts.
Oh.
Many times.
All right.
So no, Willow is expressing an interest in spells. It really is taking a page out of Jenny Calendar's book and going on a particular little journey here. But let me ask you a question.
Please.
I need to know how Drusilla doesn't know that Spike is at full power. I don't buy that. I don't buy it because Drusilla sees things, and because not only does Drusilla see things, it's like the only way I'll buy it is if it's like Spike is too close to Drusilla. Because sometimes, like, I can have witch feelings about a lot of things, but sometimes when it's something for me, like about me personally, it's like there's a wall there. Like, I can't perceive, I don't have like any vision when it comes to certain intense things for myself. So maybe Spike is just so close to her that she can't see that. But
well, here's the thought.
Yeah.
It could be that. It could be that he's too close. Also, before she was made vampire, Drusilla was, in addition to having the sight, was driven mad by Angel. So that's also part of her psychological makeup.
Right.
So, and it's also possible, like, I don't necessarily know that all of her visions have timestamps on them. She could just, I mean, obviously Spike is going to heal. Vampires heal fast and like can't be killed by regular wounds. So like we can assume that eventually Spike will be. So even if she has a vision of Spike walking or whatever, she wouldn't necessarily think, this will be tomorrow, like all my visions are.
You know, and you saying that makes me think maybe we didn't know that, maybe you were right, maybe we didn't know that Drusilla had the sight beforehand. I think maybe what I was thinking of was that she was driven mad before he changed her, and that's what I was thinking of. So I don't know. I don't know.
You know what I know?
What do you know?
If Angelus is going to perform a ritual in which he needs some blood on his hand to pull the sword out of a chest of a stone demon, you know he's going to find a guy who's as ready to be shirtless as he is all the time.
Third runner-up for sexual tension. That guy and Angel.
And his beverage.
Yeah. Right, but Angel, of course, well, we don't actually, the ritual starts and then we go to this wonderful flashback. So many places we go to. Ireland, we go to London, we go to Manhattan,
baby.
1996,
What a year.
I'll tell you, it was a great year for Manhattan. I spent a good amount of time in Manhattan in 1996 because it is the year that the musical Rent came out, and I saw the musical 3 times in the first year of it being out.
Wow.
Saw the original cast. Thank you very much.
Wow.
Good night, everybody. No, I was really interested looking at this flashback to Manhattan because my instinct was like, that's not what Manhattan looked like in 96. But then I was thinking about Rent and like the way that the city was portrayed in Rent. And I thought, damn, like the Disneyfication of Times Square and the like image shift of Manhattan and boroughs adjacent to Manhattan, like, you know, that happened in the early 90s, the mid 90s, but I feel like maybe it was still like a big part of the association that people had with the city, even as late as the late 90s. Because I don't think that people associate that like dark alleyway, steam rising from the alley, rat thing with Manhattan as much anymore.
Right. It's like people don't think of Manhattan as Gotham.
Right.
Anymore.
Right, which is
But that's a relatively new thing.
And that's a bummer. I'm sorry. I'm very against the Disneyfication of Times Square. I'm very against a lot of the things that happened in the cleanup, I use air quotes that you can't see, of the city. If you want a really great fucking read on that movement in Times Square and all of those happenings, you should read this incredible book. It's called Times Square Red, Times Square Blue. It's by Samuel R. Delaney. And actually, I just looked it up. It was published in 1999. But it is, I don't remember which part is which, but one part is really theory heavy and the other part is really story heavy. If you're not into reading theory, you should still read the story part because it is Samuel Delaney's account of his experience in Times Square before the cleanup, and sort of the community and the camaraderie and the cross-class, cross-race relationships that were happening in Times Square and how that cleanup really just tore all of that apart. It's really a great read. I haven't read it in years, but I remember being really moved by it. Anyhow, who knew that this rat flashback to Manhattan would take me through all of these emotions. We also meet Whistler,
another New Yorker. Oh, here he happens to be in New York.
Yes, but yes, another New York accent, and something that we haven't really touched too much upon in Buffy yet, which is that not all demons, as Whistler puts it, are dedicated to the destruction of life.
Hell yeah.
I just think this is really, really important. And this is, again, kind of a first for us of seeing 2 demons coming together for good. And Whistler is really showing Angel the ropes. And I don't know, we don't get much backstory on Whistler, right? How does he know about Buffy? How does he know that about Angel?
We don't know.
We don't know. But what we do know is that not only do we get Manhattan in 96, but then Whistler takes Angel to L.A. in 96.
Hell yeah.
This is really exciting.
But not before he gets a hot dog.
Right.
Which I didn't know you could order a hot dog in New York by saying, dog me. I lived there 9 years.
Are you going to do it next time you go?
Next time I go to New York, I'm going to be like, check out this sweet local move. Dog me.
So Los Angeles, first of all, this Los Angeles flashback is home to a very important gifable Buffy moment where she's got the lollipop and she rolls her eyes. I have used that Buffy gif many a time. But it's also really exciting for me personally because this is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So this, whenever I see this flashback, or when I saw this flashback, I was like, oh my God, we have to watch the movie. And, because it's really exciting. And this guy, presumably her watcher.
Merrick.
It's Merrick. Oh, so we know that it's Merrick. Does Merrick get a name in the... Yeah. Okay, great. So Merrick finds Buffy, is like, you have a destiny. She's like, I don't have a destiny.
I'm destiny free.
Right. And she is, this scene is set up to mark her as Cordelia. She walks in the same formation with the Cordettes, the Buffettes, I guess.
The buffets, if you're French.
Right. She's saying the same things. Call me, call me, call me. She is in full Cordelia mode. She sees Merrick, and I love her response. Yeah? Hi. What? Just a great progression. And we see her. This is really cool. We see her kill her first vampire.
Yeah. Yeah, and we get to see her react to that.
Yeah, and we also get to see Joyce in 96.
We also get to see the the sort of prologue to the Summers family divorce. Mm-hmm. Joyce and Hank are fighting a bunch.
Right, Hank is so upset. Joyce talks to him like he's a child.
So he says.
But you know what I think might be a play there, Jenny?
The patriarchy.
Correct.
Wow. I think this is so interesting. Because what the setup for this was, for the setup for the LA trip was, hey, you could go either way. You're at a crossroad. Two roads are diverging in a vampy wood, and you could go either way. So which way are you going to go? I'm going to show you your other option, or you can continue down this path. And Angel, after he watches Buffy, setting the tone for many times that he will watch Buffy
from outside the window. Yeah, it's his favorite thing to do.
Also, this thing with the car and the blacked out windows. So a vampire can drive a car in the daylight if the windows are blacked out, but how are they driving?
Right, like they can see the idea of the road, and that's enough for them.
That just seems...
I like it, though. I like that now they're mobile.
Maybe the physiology of a vampire eye, because we assume they have amazing night vision because they're nocturnal.
Right.
Maybe there's something that allows them to see through...
black paint.
It's not like fully opaque though.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, it isn't. No, I think it's doable, and I really like the addition of this little now vamps
great world
can drive.
Detail. Yeah.
So Angela comes downstairs and tells downstairs, by the way.
Downstairs into the sewers,
and he's like, Whistler, I want to help, and I want you to train me, and I want to be like you, but I don't want to dress like you.
Which is great, good, because nobody wants to see Angel in that pork pie hat. And Whistler says something really interesting.
Yeah.
He says, the more you live in this world, the more you see how apart from it you really are.
Right.
Which is so interesting because Angel has been distancing himself from the world during this sort of like post-traumatic stress period of his re-ensouled life, where he's just grieving and dealing with the trauma of having been sort of like overtaken and piloted into murdering literally countless people.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of like deep digs in this episode and the next episode. I can't wait to talk about the next one too. But first we go back to the ritual. Angel has failed, and I'm just gonna Angel doesn't do it. He doesn't do it.
He can't pull the sword out.
And the moment that follows is good enough for us to share a sound clip with you all. The sound clip is titled in my phone, Acathla Fail.
Someone wasn't worthy.
Damn it! This is so disappointing.
The two best possible reactions.
That fucking noise that she makes, it kills me.
Followed by Angel smashing some priceless antique pottery. He's so mad.
God, Angel loves an antique and to smash an antique, just...
Truly.
Man, his apartment must have been decorated in the only antiques he didn't smash as Angelus the last time. Anyhow, so he's failed. Spike's delighting in it. We cut to the classroom where what is this thing called?
An immolationogram.
Immolationogram? What does that mean? Like
Immolation means like a burning.
Oh, okay. I loved it before I even knew what it meant. It's Lily Tomlin. It's not, but like this is Lily Tomlin.
Kristen thinks this vampire is Lily Tomlin.
I honestly looked at Jenny when we watched it the first time and was like, is that Lily Tomlin as a vamp, as a suicide vamp, left to send a message to the classroom.
How do you get this job and why do you take it?
Right? For the honor? Like what?
There's no honor among vampires.
I know, that's
feel
the
like.
thing.
Although I guess when
maybe
the anointed one was around, and the master, there was a lot of sort of like pseudo-religious like
loyalty and
yeah.
martyrdom stuff. So anyhow, Lily Tomlin as vamp is all like the graveyard at 9 p.m. and then just combusts, and everyone in the classroom is like, that was weird.
Anyway, back to my toast.
Right. Important note. What in the fuck is Buffy wearing? What is she wearing?
What was she wearing?
She's wearing the blue, like iridescent.
Oh, the jacket.
Knee-length jacket that's like she should be like not interning. She should be like, with a briefcase going to her desk, being like a highfalutin power lady.
Or like maybe a lawyer in Xanadu.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. A lawyer in Xanadu.
But you know why I think she's wearing that jacket?
Why?
Because it looks so fucking good later when she's running in slow motion.
Slow motion. It does. It really does. It really does.
So Buffy's like, I gotta go. Angel said, meet him at 9 p.m.
Like,
I gotta
what
go
the
kill him.
fuck?
I haven't learned any lessons recently.
I don't understand.
I've gotta go.
This is a bit of a hole for me. I don't know. I want to really believe that she would be smarter than this, or that someone else would be. Even if she's too emotionally invested to see this, that someone would say like, hey guys, remember when this happened last time? It didn't go so well, but she decides to go. And the best part about her going, do you know what it is, Jenny?
Kendra gives her her steak.
When she's named Mr. Pointy.
So beautiful.
Mr. Pointy.
So beautiful.
God, Kendra. This is testament to great writing, that through just a few things, we get so attached to Kendra.
Yeah, what is this, the third episode that she's been in?
And we
love her.
We love her. Just like the fucking shirt is her only shirt. She doesn't have any fucking toys or friends, so she names her steak. It's just great character development.
Great.
We love her so much. So Buffy leaves, and then the Scoobies are left with Kendra, to do this spell.
Okay. I've got a major bone to pick.
Okay, tell me.
Buffy wants to go to the cemetery and meet Angel. Ill-advised, but I understand she's swept up in panic and, just like fire. She just like wants to meet him on the battlefield.
She wants it to be over.
You know what I cannot get behind?
What?
Oh, we've got to cast this sensitive spell to complete this ritual. We should do it in a public place where anyone can enter. Let's not go to one of our houses.
Right.
Let's not go to a place where a vampire would need an invitation to come in.
Right.
Let's do it at the fucking library.
Yeah.
No. Giles, you're better than this, man.
I know, right? And maybe, if we're going to justify it in any way, we could maybe root it in what we were talking about last week or a couple weeks ago, where they're sort of really reeling. Giles is still reeling from Jenny's death. Buffy is still reeling from this whole Angel situation. Perhaps that has caused them to not think on their feet. But the flip side is, I think that's the very definition of the Scooby Gang, is that they fucking think on their feet. And they should have known better. They should have done better here. But you know who does a great job in this scene, in the beginning of this scene? Cordelia. You know why? She's walking around with some sage. That's her job. That is her job. They gave everybody a job, and Cordelia's was to sage.
I would really like Cordelia to come over and sage our house.
If we ever get Charisma Carpenter on the podcast, I'm going to ask her to bring some sage with her and sage our house before she leaves.
Good.
That seems fair, right? So of course, as we sadly know, this was a trick. The vampires run in there after Giles because Giles knows the ritual, and Angel knows that Giles knows the ritual.
Or can decode the text.
Or can decode, that he is a useful resource for this situation. And so in come the vampires, and this is a brutal attack. It's a very odd attack because the vampires don't bite anyone.
They're very mission specific.
Yeah. They knock Willow underneath the bookcase. They snap Xander's arm in what is just a repulsive scene.
Ugh.
I hate that moment. You know, Xander tells Cordelia to run. So we see Cordelia run away. Giles gets captured, and
Willow
Kendra
goes down under a bookshelf.
Yeah, I said that. I started that. It's okay. It's a very traumatic thing.
So much to keep track of.
And then Drew walks in.
Then Drew walks in, and we learn something. That she possesses some manner of hypnotism powers.
Which is very believable.
Yeah, very like in the realm of her character, I think.
Right. And I don't 100% understand why Kendra isn't powerful enough to like at least know to close her eyes or something to break this, but Drew is very, very powerful.
Well, I'll tell you what, Drew, was ill. Drew was weak, and she subsequently regained a great deal of power.
Yeah.
She was carrying Spike around like he was a rag doll.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible that this is just a sort of heightened power? So not even Kendra's A+ watcher knows that Drusilla can do this.
Right. For whatever the reason, Drew gets her, and there's this beautiful moment where they're swaying together.
Oh, yeah, it's so creepy.
It's so creepily done. It's just beautiful in a horrible way. And then in this kill is heartbreaking because Drusilla doesn't even drink from the Slayer, right? Which is like, isn't that the best kill you can get is killing a Slayer? You'd think that she would at least take one sip.
Yeah.
Of Slayer blood, and she doesn't. She just slits Kendra's throat, lets her drop, and is like, on with the mission. It's like, it feels very, I don't know, like, I just feel like Kendra didn't even get, like, honored in her death, which is, it's just sad. It makes me so sad that she didn't even get that.
Wow. I'm just thinking about, the second to most recent sci-fi novel that I read, which was Stranger in a Strange Land, in which a human baby crash lands on Mars and all of the humans manning the ship.
I love how every time you talk about this book, you start by saying a human baby before anyone who hasn't read it knows that there are alien babies.
Yeah. Right. So this baby lands on Mars, and the adults in the crew all die. This baby is raised by Martians who are culturally very different. And one of the ways in which they are different is that they honor their dead by cannibalizing them.
Oh, wow.
Waste not, want not style. That's just what you made me think of.
Wow.
Great book. You should all read it. It's so great.
Yeah, I haven't read it yet, and it is on my list. So Kendra dies.
Rest in peace, Kendra.
Yeah,
we hardly knew ye.
We really did hardly knew ye, and we loved ye so very much. Buffy, before Angel even finishes explaining what has happened, of course, is like, what the fuck is wrong with me? And runs at full speed back to the library.
For some reason, jumps over a bench that she easily could have run around using less energy.
I'll take it. But she gets to the library to this horrific scene, and it is narrated by Whistler. This beautiful monologue. I didn't write all of it down, but the bits that I wrote down, I think, capture the essence of it. No one asks for their life to change, but it does. And it's what you do after that counts. It's where you see who you really are. Especially that line, no one asks for their life to change, but it does. It's just, I don't know. Not to get like all uber serious, but like I've had many moments in my life where this is exactly how I felt living through 9/11, my mom almost dying, just these moments that are like, you thought you knew what your life was, and then it turns out you didn't know at all. You didn't know anything, and you'll never be able to live a life that doesn't have that footprint in it, that it is forever. And I don't think that those moments are frequent. But when they happen, it's like something in your gut, no matter what, no matter how much you recover, and we recover, we get stronger, we get better, we feel better. But no matter how much we recover, that footprint is always there, and it becomes a part of us, which is really what this Whistler monologue is talking about. And this is the second really, really tragic death in just a couple short episodes.
Yeah.
Things are getting very, very real for the whole Scooby Gang very quickly. and the impact that it will have on all of them, I think we will see, and we will continue to see how it plays out.
So Buffy slow-mo runs all through the school.
Right, of course. I missed that. I'm so sorry. That's Jenny's favorite moment.
It's very important.
I missed it.
And it's a really sweet parallel to a special moment in Celine Dion's video for It's All Coming Back to Me Now.
Yeah, we're going to do our best to get you a side-by-side gift set of those moments.
Please, God, let it be so.
Follow us at Buffering Cast if you'd like to see the side-by-side gifts that we will hopefully procure for you. And then, you know, as she surveys the scene, her eyes land on Kendra, and she crouches down in this moment of like, oh no. And then, in what is a twist,
nobody saw coming.
Nobody saw this coming. We just hear freeze, and we see a gun come up against Buffy, and then it's just to be continued.
Unbelievable.
So much happened in this episode. So much is about to happen in the next episode. What a finale. What a finale. We are halfway there. And just as a reminder, next Wednesday, Becoming Part 2 will go up for all of our listeners. But if you are just needing to have it right now, needing to know what we have to say about Becoming 2, if you're a Stitcher Premium member, you can listen to that episode right now. It is up on Stitcher Premium. You just go to stitcherpremium.com/Buffy. There's a promo code there for you to use. You get a free month, and you can listen to the finale over there.
Hell yes. Oh my God, we almost forgot the most important part of any episode.
Good Lord.
The official declaration of the Sexual Tension Award for Becoming Part 1.
Mm-hmm.
Who's gonna get it?
I'm in for Kendra and Buffy.
We're never gonna be able to give it to Kendra and Buffy again.
That's true.
So I think
in memoriam, it goes to Kendra and Buffy. And while we're on the topic of Sexual Tension Awards, Jenny.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but we did our first ever listener-generated Sexual Tension Award for I Only Have Eyes for You.
Oh, yeah.
We never announced it. And
Oh
so
my
I just want to
gosh.
let everyone know that I Only Have Eyes for You, the award went to the throuple by a pretty big margin. The throuple being, of course, Angel, Spike, and Drusilla. So they have already gotten their trophy. It was sent in the mail very promptly, but we're just letting you all know. Thank you so much for your votes.
And congrats to the throuple.
Yes, congrats to the throuple. And we'll be sure to do at least one listener-generated Sexual Tension Award in Season 3.
Absolutely. But for now, I'm Jenny Owen Youngs. When I'm not watching Buffy and making this podcast with Kristen, I write songs and record them and am just a general musician. You can learn more about me and here's some of the songs that I make that aren't about Buffy at jennyowenyoungs.com/buffering. You can also give me a shout on Twitter at Jenny Owen Youngs.
Jenny Owen Youngs, just a general musician. I am Kristen Russo. You can follow me over on Twitter or Instagram at Kristen Noeline. That's KristiNoele. Just kidding. Are you on your toes? It's Noeline.
Wow.
You can learn more about my work with LGBTQ young people and their families over at everyoneisgay.com or mykidisgay.com.
Buffering the Vampire Slayer is on Facebook and Twitter at BufferingCast. And you can always drop us an email at bufferingthevampireslayer@gmail.com.
Yes, and there are some wonderful ways that you can support our work. One of them is over on Patreon. You've probably heard us talk about it before. On our website, bufferingthevampireslayer.com, you can click on the tab that says Patreon. It will take you on over to our Patreon page. There's a lot of fun things happening over there. There's a little Facebook group. It's not even little. There's a Facebook group that is just raging with Buffy content for all of our patrons. And also, all of our patrons are invited to our Buffy Watches. We have one coming up on July 30th. And not only do we have a Buffy Watch coming up, but it is a listener-chosen Buffy Watch. So if you're a patron, there's a poll up for you on Patreon. You can choose which episode you want to watch with us on July 30th. So that's fun.
Yes.
You can also support us by subscribing to Stitcher Premium. Stitcher Premium is a pretty awesome platform where you get exclusives and original content, and you also can get the finale of our podcast today if you're a Stitcher Premium member. I know, right? So if you're just dying, no pun intended, to listen to Becoming 2, our episode of Becoming 2, you can go on over to stitcherpremium.com/Buffy and use the promo code Buffy. You get a free month and you get a discount on the yearly membership. You will get today the finale, but if you want to stay as a member, you will get many other fun things, fun exclusives, and moving into season 3, we will be starting to do some exclusives over there as well.
Heck yeah. Well, friends, as we round the bend towards finishing season 2, Kristen and I are thinking about ways to improve the show, and we would love your input. We've put together a listener survey where you can weigh in on what you like and what you don't. And your feedback will help us make the show even better. And everyone who completes the survey and includes their email address will be entered to win a buffering shirt of their choosing.
So many to choose from.
Now there are. All you have to do is just go to bufferingthevampireslayer.com and click on survey.
Yes, the survey will be up through the end of the summer, and we would really, really appreciate your input. It will help really guide us, like Jenny said, into season 3.
We've also got a season wrap-up episode coming on July 19th, and we want to feature your voices. If you're so inclined, please send us a voice memo that is 90 seconds or less, telling us about your favorite episode of Season 2, your favorite moment of Season 2, or whatever you want to tell us about Season 2. And you might be featured on our podcast.
Woo!
Send your voice memos to bufferingthevampireslayer@gmail.com. And till next time,
Ow!
Yes!
Hi, I'm Dana Schwartz, and this is Rise or Die, the official companion podcast for Peacock's original series, Those About to Die. On this podcast, I go behind the scenes with the show's cast and creators to learn how they brought their brutal vision of Rome to life. I talked to acclaimed director and executive producer Roland Emmerich.
When I saw the first race, I was like giddy.
Actor Ewan Ryan.
For an actor, that's a dream, although you do get a lot of sand in your sandals.
And so many more.
You helped summon those ghosts back onto that stage.
Every day when I went to set, I was giggling about what I saw.
I think it's going to be a breathtaking thing.
Gosh, people will freak out.
Rise or Die launches on July 18th. Watch or listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a co-founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. During her journey, Isla meets new friends, including King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table, and learns valuable life lessons with every quest, sword fight, and dragon ride. Positive and uplifting stories remind us all about the importance of kindness, friendship, honesty, and positivity. Join me and an all-star cast of actors, including Liam Neeson, Emily Blunt, Kristen Bell, Chris Hemsworth, among many others, in welcoming the Search for the Silver Lining podcast to the Go Kid Go network by listening today. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.